Teenagers are injured at the scene of a house fire on the far south side. We are live with the latest.
A 15-year-old boy was shot at a gas station in the city. He was one of just 5 teenagers shot in Chicago yesterday.
And Capitol confusion as Republican Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy vows to keep fighting to become the House Speaker, as we welcome you on this busy Wednesday morning.
Live from Chicago's #1 news, ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
Good morning, I'm Val Warner.
And good to be with you. I'm Terrell Brown. Let's go outside, see what's going on this morning. 38 degrees. Live picture from Chopper, actually. Look at that.
Nice.
Getting a little bit of sunshine out there, Tracy. You said we get a little bit this morning, and then the clouds start to roll in.
Yeah, a little hint of some sun, but that's about all it's going to be for the most part. I think the clouds will thicken up, especially for the afternoon. These clouds may bear a couple of sprinkles. Now, look at these temperatures. 38 degrees at O'Hare and Midway, 34 in Gary, 35 in Aurora. We have 38 degrees in Joliet and 35 in Kankakee. Our average low today is 20 degrees. That's the number we should be around at this time of day on a January morning. Now, we're going to have a fair amount of cloud cover with us through the day today. You see the temperatures really don't budge very much. Tomorrow, there will be some occasional light snow around and highs in the low 30s. We'll talk more about the extended forecast coming up. Roz?
We have a metro delay on the UP West line. This will affect train 28. It will not depart from the LaFox station because of a cruise shortage. So number 30 is going to accommodate those passengers. If you're driving in this morning, the travel times are still not bad. We're averaging maybe 25 minutes, only 20 minutes on the Eisenhower, so not a lot going on out there. But we do have a crash that's causing a little bit of a delay on 355. It's southbound just before 83rd Street. Take a look at the tollway camera. They've just moved everything off to the right shoulder. You see the flashing lights there. So we're really not seeing too much of a delay any longer on 355. Val and Terrell.
All right, good news, Ross. Thank you. Now to that breaking news. A Chicago firefighter and 2 teenagers were hurt in a house fire on the city's far south side.
Jessica D'Onofrio was live in the Roseland neighborhood with an update. Jess?
Val and Terrell, this fire is now out, but it took about 2 hours to fight. Now, we were updated by fire officials here on the scene. They tell us that this fire started at 3:38 this morning inside a home near 113th and Edbrook. When firefighters arrived, they saw heavy fire in the basement and the first floor. They also had reports of people trapped. 4 people were able to get out on their own, including 2 children and 2 adults. Fire officials say a 17-year-old boy had to be rescued. He's in serious to critical condition with burn injuries. A 15-year-old girl also suffered minor injuries. Meanwhile, fire officials say as fire crews were rescuing the 17-year-old boy, the fire flashed over, and that caused a firefighter to get injured. That firefighter suffered some burn injuries to his face, and he is being evaluated at a local hospital.
The fire was growing when they were there. It was in 2 floors already. It was expanding very rapidly. Because of the missing person report on the onset of the alarm, they made an aggressive attack, which is very risky. But to save a life, that's what we do.
Fire officials say this is a single-family 1.5-story home. They say their biggest challenge was that the fire was raging on 2 floors. At one point, they had over 100 fire personnel here at the scene. Now, back here live, fire investigators are looking at this home, and they will now start to determine a cause and origin of the fire. Val and Terrell, back to you.
All right, Jessica D'Onofrio live on the south side. Jess, thank you. The new year is off to a violent start when it comes to minors. Chicago police say several young people were shot in the city yesterday alone.
The violence raising concerns about the course of this new year. And our Diane Pathu is live at Comer Children's Hospital, where a 15-year-old boy is being treated. Diane?
Val and Terrell, we're talking about 5 teenagers shot just yesterday alone, and this morning, as you mentioned, one of them now recovering here at the hospital. Police tell us that latest shooting happened late last night in the 7900 block of South Lafayette. A 15-year-old was at a gas station when shots were fired. He was hit in the backside, brought here to Comer Children's, and is listed in serious condition. Less than an hour later, in the 6600 block of South Greenwood, police tell us victims were driving in a vehicle when someone fired shots from the sidewalk into that vehicle. A 31-year-old man driving was shot in the head. smashed into a tree, then crashed into a building before coming to a stop. He is in critical condition. Here at U of C, a 14-year-old boy also taken to the hospital in fair condition with a gunshot wound to the right arm. There were 3 other shooting incidents involving teenagers. So far this year, at least 13 juveniles have been shot. 2 of them are dead. Back to you.
All right, Diane, thank you. Breaking overnight, a 28-year-old woman is in critical condition after the driver of a car she was in crashed into a concrete wall on Chicago's north side. It happened around 11:30 last night near Peterson and Ridge in Lincoln Square. Police say the female driver failed to stop at a red light before hitting the wall. The driver got out of the car and ran off. At last check, police were still looking for her.
To Capitol Hill this morning, a new Congress is starting without a House Speaker. There was a historic defeat for Republican leader Kevin McCarthy. He lost in 3 rounds of votes. Still, McCarthy says there is no scenario in which he will drop his bid for Speaker. ABC's M. Nguyen is live in Washington with more this morning. M, good morning.
Good morning, Terrell. Yeah, Kevin McCarthy needed 218 votes to become the House Speaker, and he only received 203 in the first 2 rounds, and then he even fared worse in the third, losing a Republican vote. Still, McCarthy says he's not giving up today. This morning, a second day of chaos expected in the House as the 118th Congress begins without a speaker. GOP leader Kevin McCarthy vowing to fight to the finish despite failing to garner enough votes 3 straight times.
Today, is it the day I wanted to have? No. We're not that far away. We only need 11 more votes to win.
Multiple conservative Republicans refusing to back him, instead voting for Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, who says he has no intention of being Speaker. Congressman Matt Gaetz also calling out how McCarthy's staff already started moving some of his belongings into the Speaker's office, asking in a letter to the agency that maintains the Capitol how long will he remain there before he's considered a squatter. Others sticking by McCarthy.
It's like in a marriage. Do you really believe that you are going to be in accordance with your husband 100% of the time? No, right? But that doesn't mean that you're going to divorce the guy.
Some observers suggesting Louisiana Representative Steve Scalise could have the inside track, though the number 2 GOP leader in the House has never campaigned for the job.
That may be kind of the best selling point for Steve Scalise.
This marks the first time in nearly a century the party in control was not able to elect a speaker after the first ballot. Meanwhile, Democrats rallied behind Hakeem Jeffries, who received more votes than McCarthy.
Democrats are united. The Republican dysfunction is what it is: chaos, crisis, and confusion, along with craziness. That's sad for the American people.
Now, without an elected speaker, the House can't actually move on to any other business. The House will try again today at noon to have a vote for speaker today in Washington. Terrell, Val.
All right, Em, thank you. New House members can't even be sworn in until there is a new speaker. But that's not the case in the Senate. Vice President Kamala Harris has become the first woman to preside over the opening day of the U.S. Senate. Harris swore in 35 newly elected and re-elected senators yesterday, including Illinois' Tammy Duckworth.
Meantime, Vice President Harris will be here in Chicago today. She'll make an appearance at the 95th Street Bridge on the far south side. Harris will be talking about the administration's economic plan, which includes rebuilding the nation's infrastructure. The vice president's event is scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon.
As prayers and support continue for Buffalo Bills safety Demar Hamlin.
Yeah, this morning we're hearing from his family for the first time about how he's doing. This morning, with the shock of his collapse still settling in, relatives say Demar Hamlin is still fighting.
It's kind of just like they're day to day. He's improving from where he was yesterday, and we're just going to continue to pray.
Hamlin's uncle told CNN and ESPN that Hamlin's mother was in the stadium and his 7-year-old brother was watching the game on TV.
You know, the way my nephew, I never heard him scream and cry like that. And when it was 10 minutes gone past and then 20 minutes gone past, I knew something was serious.
The 24-year-old Bill's safety remains in intensive care in critical condition. Relatives say he's sedated and intubated.
They had to resuscitate him twice. They resuscitated him on the field before they brought him to the hospital, and then they resuscitated him a second time when he got to the hospital.
We've chosen not to show video of the play during which Hamlin sustained a blow to the chest while making a routine tackle. Hamlin at first got back on his feet, but 3 seconds later collapsed. This morning, Russ cardiologist Dr. Sean Swearengin says without more information, what caused Hamlin's heart to stop is unclear.
It's hard to ignore the timing of everything that happened on the field. but until we know more about the specifics of the tests that they've done, you could not make any definitive diagnosis.
Workers will be on the picket line in Chicago again today for day 2 of a strike by employees of Howard Brown Health. They'll be at 3 locations: North Sheridan Road, the Howard Brown Clinic on West 63rd, and the Brown Elephant on North Clark in Andersonville. The workers at the LGBTQ+ organization have planned a 3-day strike over what they call unfair labor practices. The president and CEO of Howard Brown Health says staff reductions are necessary to close a $12 million budget deficit shortfall.
If we cannot live within our means and course correct, we will put the whole agency and care for patients in jeopardy.
What we want here is for Howard Brown Health leadership to prioritize patient care, prioritize the employees.
60 employees were laid off on Friday. Starting January 17th, Oakton Community College will drop the word community from its name. The school says the name change adopted in 2021 is part of a new strategic plan. There will be no change to educational operations.
The Mega Millions jackpot has now grown. There was no big winner last night, so now it's up to at least $940 million for Friday night. Here are last night's numbers, just in case you may have
Well, here we go on a Wednesday morning, our first Wednesday of the new year of January. Kind of uneventful, that's okay. I'm not complaining. Plenty of clouds, though, with us today, and a few snow showers this evening, though I think tomorrow will bring us a better period of some light snow to the area. Any accumulations, however, will stay less than an inch, and most areas probably less than a half of an inch. So by this time tomorrow morning, I do think we'll be looking at some snow on the radar. Even over the weekend, flurries at times and highs in the 30s. Right now, once again, things are very, very quiet. However, in the deep south, they are dealing with the onset of severe weather to start the day there. Meanwhile, up around Minneapolis, they have been piling on the snow and dealing with all kinds of winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories that are still intact there. As for us, like I said, a few snow showers possible this evening, but more likely tomorrow morning during the commute time, we will get some additional light snow into the area. As I said, most of us are going to come in with probably half of an inch or less than that. Could get a couple of spots that get slightly more, but not much. So not much of a snowstorm, certainly at all. 38 degrees, not even enough to probably make a snowball or go sled riding. 38 degrees right now at O'Hare. We've already hit our high for the day. Temperatures are just going to stay in the 30s the rest of the day. Ross?
Not much of a rush hour, honestly. Look at this. I don't see any red on this map and hardly any yellow. I mean, rush hour's over. So if you have to head out the door right now, you're in great shape. We do have IDOT crews heading to a stall inbound on the Kennedy at Ohio, but we're not seeing any big delays there. And the crash we had on 355 southbound before 83rd Street is on the right shoulder. Now, Chopper 7 is over it. It's one vehicle, but it lost control. You can see the skid marks in the grass there on the shoulder. It knocked down a light pole, so there was quite a bit of damage done to the vehicle. State police are with it, but again, it's on the right shoulder. Traffic volume is so light, it is not even causing a blip on the radar. No delays at all on 355. Val and Terrell.
All right, got it. Ross, thank you so much. At the Vatican this morning, Pope Francis held his weekly general audience before a larger than normal crowd. Tomorrow, he'll preside at Pope Benedict's funeral in St. Peter's Square before a crowd that will likely number in the tens of thousands. As of last night, about 135,000 people had viewed Benedict's body lying in state. ABC's Mike Marza is live in Rome with more on the preparations for the funeral tomorrow. Mike, good morning.
Terrell, good morning to you. You know, we are learning more about that service tomorrow morning. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI will be celebrated in this Mass that will be similar to those of a sitting Pope, and we'll watch for that. It will also be 2 hours long, we know that. And as you mentioned, Pope Francis will be presiding. In fact, we heard from Pope Francis this morning. He gave his weekly general audience, and it's an opportunity for pilgrims here in the Rome area to come and pray with him. And this morning, he used it as an opportunity to ask for prayers for Benedict. Pope Francis, who will preside over the funeral mass tomorrow, walking into the general audience this morning in the Vatican with a cane as the faithful shouted, "Long live the Pope." He told them he joins the prayers for Benedict XVI. The sun splashed the Vatican Wednesday morning, revealing final preparations for the funeral service tomorrow. Red curtains hung between the columns. People from Brazil.
I am Catholic, so for me this is a sign of my religion and my faith.
To Texas.
While we were here, we thought this would be the right time to go visit him as well, to pay our respects to him.
Joining the tens of thousands to pay their respects, Jason from Dallas brought his 2 daughters.
It's going to be something to really remember that, we were able to see the Pope after he passed away.
Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI lying in state for a third and final day at the altar of confession inside St. Peter's Basilica.
And it's something I think you cannot express with words. You are speechless, like the things that you are seeing.
Benedict wanted a simple, solemn service. The only official delegations, Italy and Benedict's native Germany, have been invited. The U.S. ambassador to the Holy See will represent the U.S. at the service. Immediately after the service, the former pontiff will be buried in a 3-layer coffin in the crypt under the basilica where more than 90 popes have been laid to rest. That coffin will be closed at the conclusion of the public viewing opportunity. That's less than 5 hours from now. And then it will remain in the basilica tomorrow morning at 8:50 local time in the morning. It will be brought out to St. Peter's Square where the faithful can recite the rosary ahead of the service. Terrell, we'll send it back to you.
Mike Marza in Rome this morning. Mike, really good to see you, and thank you for your reporting. There will be another Mass of remembrance for Pope Benedict tonight in Chicago. It's at 7 o'clock at St. Hyacinth's Basilica on the northwest side. This morning, the theater world is remembering Tony Award-winning director Frank Galati. The Highland Park native directed acclaimed productions at the Goodman and Steppenwolf theaters here in Chicago. Galati won 2 awards for Grapes of Wrath for a production first launched at Steppenwolf. He was also nominated for directing Ragtime. Galati was 79 years old. He's being remembered this morning by another Highland Park native, actor Gary Sinise. And he told our news partners at the Daily Herald, quote, "While his loss will be felt with sadness by all of us, his legacy of great work and his genuine kindness and generosity as a wonderful person will live on and on." And a reminder, a week from today, you can get in on the Great Chicago Blood Drive. It's on January 11th and 12th at several locations. We've got all the details you need to know over on our website, abc7chicago.com, including where you can give and how you can make an appointment.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Southwest Airlines is doling out frequent flyer points to customers affected by its holiday meltdown. Customers will get 25,000 points on top of ticket refunds and reimbursements for expenses. The frequent flyer points amount to a credit of about $300. The airline hasn't said exactly how many passengers were affected by the nearly 16,000 flight cancellations.
A group of teens is making Chicago proud this morning as they head to Ghana for Chance the Rapper and Vic Mensa's Black Star Line Festival.
Yeah, the teens are all part of the anti-violence group Good Kids Mad City. They'll spend the week in the motherland.
And I'm going to Ghana, and I'm looking forward to having a cultural and educational experience.
This is the first international trip for a lot of these kids, which is fantastic.
Big trip, long flight, but an excellent experience.
Yeah, I'm so curious to hear from them when they get back. What did they see? What did they learn?
Good idea. Maybe we'll have them on the show.
There we go. That's great. Yeah. So let's link up with everybody right now. Let's watch Good Morning America.
I'm going to have a news update on TV in just a bit. You'll see it here as well.
And when we come back this morning, we'll introduce you to a fellow viewer who has something to dance about. Looking forward to that. It's on the way.
Now, an update from ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning at 7:23. I'm Val Warner. A Chicago firefighter and 2 teens are hospitalized this morning. They were hurt in a house fire on the far south side. More than 100 personnel battled the early morning fire at 113th and Edbrook. 4 people were able to get out of their own, including 2 children and 2 adults. A 17-year-old boy had to be rescued. He is in serious to critical condition with burns. A 15-year-old girl suffered minor injuries. In addition, a firefighter is being evaluated for injuries to his face. It is unclear how that fire started. Let's get a check of the ABC 7 AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Tracy Butler. Tracy.
Hi there, Val. Good morning, and things are very quiet around the area this morning. Take a look at the numbers. 36 in Morris, 35 Waukegan, 34 in Gary. To put this in perspective, our average high today is 32. So we're sitting above the average high for the day already. Now, technically, our high was 44 much earlier this morning. There will be a few snow showers around this evening, some periods of light snow around the area tomorrow. Shouldn't amount to much more than a half of an inch. We'll take a break, Roz, after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got a couple of Metro delays, starting with the BNSF. Train 1228 is not going to be stopping at the Route 59 station, so 1230 is going to stop there and accommodate the passengers. That train's running about 10 to 15 minutes behind schedule. We also have an update on the UP West line. Now, they have canceled number 28 because of a crew shortage. Number 30 is going to accommodate passengers and make all the stops. On the expressways, it's like we don't even have a rush hour. The travel times are all under 25 minutes, including the Kennedy, which is moving pretty well, all things considered. 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown.
Time now, 7:27. Look outside right now. Pretty quiet out there weather-wise. Tracy will be back to talk about a little bit of chance of snow coming up a little bit later on. Well, right now it is time for something to dance about, whether it's a new job, a graduation, a birthday, vacation, or you just like to dance. This morning we are featuring one of your dance videos, and this morning we are showcasing Rose McElroy from Bolingbrook. She's celebrating the new year. And you know that dancing got good to Rose because she had to kick off her shoes. You go, Rose, bringing in 2023 with all that sparkling pizzazz. We want to see more of your videos, so grab your phone and just like Rose, scan this QR code on your screen and then make sure you upload your video. Make sure the music is playing in the background, and we also have everything else you need to know right there with that QR code. If your video is chosen, guess what? You may see it right here during our morning show. Coming up this morning, Vice President Kamala Harris is headed to Chicago today. The reason for her visit coming up.
You're watching ABC 7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Let's get a quick look at some of the stories we're going to be watching for you today. This morning, we hope to get an update on how 3 people are doing. They were hurt in a house fire in Chicago's far south side. Broke out around 3:30 this morning, 113th South Ed Brook in Roseland. Fire officials say a 17-year-old boy had to be rescued. Since we've last heard, he was in serious to critical condition with burn injuries. We're also told a 15-year-old girl suffered minor injuries. Meanwhile, the fire chief says that as crews were rescuing the 17-year-old, a firefighter suffered a burn injury to his face. I have updates on both of those stories on air and online.
Vice President Kamala Harris will be in Chicago this afternoon for a media event at the 95th Street Bridge. She plans to talk about President Biden's economic plan. It includes rebuilding infrastructure, revitalizing communities, and creating good jobs that don't require college degrees.
Now, the White Sox will introduce their new all-star outfielder today. Sox manager Pedro Grifol will appear with former Yankee Andrew Benintendi at Guaranteed Rate Field. The 22-year-old Gold Glove winner just signed a 5-year deal with the White Sox worth $75 million. He will be introduced to the Chicago media at 11 o'clock this morning. Yeah, I always wonder, so what is it like to be an athlete and to learn that you just signed a deal for $75 million. I mean, do you just start going, all right, so 5 years from now, I'm gonna get this house, this car, this, I mean,
yeah, we'll
never know what that feels like.
We'll never know what that feels like, but we can imagine that in my mind, I'd like to think that the first thing they would do was take care of their family.
I would hope so.
I don't know why that always pops into my mind, and no offense to dads, but I'm like, gotta take care of mama.
Right. We'll ask Aaron Rodgers how that's going. You hear how he's kind of cut off his entire family, I hear.
Did
apparently.
he?
Yeah.
Over
that's
money?
What else? You know.
Oh my goodness. Well, they say more money, more problems.
Yeah, that's right. You ain't lying. All right, hey, I'm sorry. Anyway, outside we go. 38 degrees, so it feels nice out there. What's a jackpot of a forecast, Tracy, would you say?
You know what? You can.
Kinda?
It's certainly apropos. You know what? That's why I don't want to win the Mega Millions. Too many problems.
That's true.
You know, too many.
To me, though, I'll handle some of those problems.
We can afford a therapist.
This is true. All right. Well, good morning. Well, you know what? Hey, I know sunshine is very good therapy, but it's not something we're going to see a whole lot of. With all of these clouds, though, our temperatures are not going to move very much at all today. So kind of steady as she goes in the 30s. Now, this evening, there will be some light snow showers. I don't think it amounts to very much. Tomorrow, however, we will have periods of light snow coming in with maybe a couple to a few tenths of an inch of accumulation. Roz?
Well, I guess the traffic report is going to be the bright spot this morning because there is absolutely nothing going on the expressways. The highest travel time is the Stevenson, and that's about 24, maybe 25 minutes from the Tri-State to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. It is so quiet out there. We did have a stall inbound on the Kennedy at Ohio. IDOT crews have moved it to the accident investigation site, so we don't have any lane blockage there. We do have one crash off the expressways. It's in Libertyville. It's on northbound US 45, just north of Winchester Road. So be careful if you have to drive through there anytime soon. But otherwise, there's hardly anything causing any problems out there. Val and Terrell.
Love it.
No complaints. All right, now to today's talkers. We're going to start with an update on Jeremy Renner. The actor remains hospitalized after a snowplow accident on New Year's Day.
Yeah, this morning we're hearing from Jeremy himself. He posted a selfie on Instagram. You don't look too bad right there.
Well, look at that one side of his face.
Oh, that's true. Oh, you know, I didn't see that. And
yeah,
then under his eye. Yeah.
Black eye.
Thanked everyone for their kind words. Says, look, I'm too messed up right now to type. I just want to send everybody some love. We do know that he was helping a family when this accident happened in Tahoe. I believe it was his family that was at his house in Nevada. So far, the star has gone through 2 surgeries. He's still in the ICU right now. Apparently, they got in a whole lot of snow. It was a private driveway. He was out there trying to clear some of it so that the family could get in and out, and then that's when this whole thing happened.
And I think he had one surgery to his face, because you could even see like the side,
Yeah, and then another one to come. I hope it's not so bad that it impacts his career.
Right.
And of course, wish him well and the best.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he's in the ICU and he's able to take a selfie, that is a
That
good
is a good
sign.
sign.
I
Yeah.
hope.
Right,
So.
right. And leave
Well,
that
that was
plowing.
my thought. You know, the fact that he was even able to take a selfie.
Right.
Right?
It's a good thing, yeah. And leave the plowing to the professionals, man.
Ugh,
Goodness
you don't
gracious.
have to tell me twice.
Right? Yeah. And then there's this, and this is really cool. Oh, Tracy, anything that you want to mention on that, by the way? I'm so sorry.
Best wishes.
Yes, yeah, just make sure he's doing all right. Dionne Warwick and Dolly Parton are working together on a very special gospel duet together.
Warwick announced the forthcoming duet during an appearance on an episode of the Tamron Hall Show. Take a listen.
Dolly Parton and Dionne collaborating! What?
I've done so many duets over the years, but this one's going to be very special.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of shocked that they've never done one together so far.
I don't know if I've ever heard Dolly sing. Have you heard Dolly sing gospel?
I can't say that I have. Ladies, have you?
Trying to think.
I don't
think so.
Think so.
Oh, in the movie there was a movie. What's the name of that movie? Queen Latifah. No, Queen Latifah, Dolly Parton. I'm so bad with.
I am too. They put the two
Dolly Parton.
non-movie watching people together.
Yeah, Joyful Noise. Yeah.
Oh, Joyful
Noise in 2012. Yep. Yep. that's the. I was wondering what gospel song are they going to sing? Oh, it's actually. I know it's what Dolly wrote this one, and they're going to sing that together. Yeah.
Okay.
But they could go on
wait to
ahead.
hear it.
Yeah, I know, right? I bet it's going to be beautiful.
Was Dolly Parton on that list of Rolling Stones 200 all-time?
I think she was included.
She was on that list. Okay.
I want to say top 30 maybe.
But I feel like Dionne Warwick was left out. She was
left out.
Yeah,
she
okay.
was.
Dionne Warwick said, I got y'all. I'm going to collab with one of the people on the list and tell you I deserve to be on that list too.
That's right. Yeah, that's gonna be some good music that comes out of that. I wonder if just don't leave it at one gospel song. Do a whole album.
Maybe the start of the beginning of something.
Victory is mine.
I remember how to play that on the piano.
Oh man.
All right. Well, it is 4 days into dry January for those who observe. You know, that's where you don't drink, but that doesn't mean you can't touch the vodka.
Yeah. YouTube has this video. Take a look.
I get it. It's dry January, so you're not drinking much. But if you've got Tito's lying around, don't just stare at it, use it. Say goodbye to musty smell. And it's your pasta sauce for a little extra kick.
We need to leave this volume up.
Yeah, I don't see what she's doing.
Because is she saying that Tito's vodka spring that in your shoes is going to make the stench go away?
Just go away. That's what she just said. She's using it to clean. Yeah. Tito's handmade vodka has gotten Martha Stewart for this cheeky campaign that helps people who've temporarily abstained from alcohol with ideas for what to do with their vodka besides just drinking it. Is she watering the flowers with it?
No way. It can't be good for your flowers. Well, you know what? Fresh flowers, maybe it helps with their longevity.
Does it?
I don't
I've never
know.
heard that before.
Okay.
I might try it.
Yes, Stewart uses her do-it-yourself knowledge to get creative with vodka. Listen, I trust what she said.
I know. I do too.
She's going to know. You know what? I have so many peers of like, and Roz, I think you'll be kind of able to relate to this. Well, let me ask you first. Do you wear socks with your Uggs?
Sometimes.
Oh, you do? Okay.
But it just depends how cold it is outside.
Do you guys wear socks with your tennis shoes and your sneakers?
I always do.
You always wear socks?
Yeah, because my
Tracy,
feet
you wear
sweat.
socks?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm the lone one up here.
So you don't wear
Again,
socks?
I don't wear socks with my shoes.
But I bet they stink.
They stink to high heaven.
Yeah.
So that's why I am thinking perhaps that this vodka trick.
Does that actually work?
Well, I'm going to try it. That's what I'm saying. I have a spray bottle at home. I'll put a little, I'm thinking I'm going to have to dilute it just a little bit probably. I don't know what the ratio is. I'll look up the commercial. But yeah, I'm going to try that. Like these right here. I don't have any socks. Like wrong foot.
No socks on right now.
Oh
Not bad, right?
You want, these aren't bad. These aren't bad.
Oh, okay, all right.
You want
Yeah, that's all good.
You're really going to smell that, Terrell? You're brave.
That's actually not bad at all.
No, these don't stink. I do have a pair of that. Ooh, Lord.
Oh, you smell them. But
I take my own self out with them.
But how is vodka going to make it any better, though? So now you go from having funky feet to having
it's the
vodka smelling.
My feet could be happy.
Spiked feet. That's what it is. Spiked feet.
I'm going to try it out.
We'll see what happens.
I've
Let me know if it
heard that,
works.
Vinegar is a good trick.
Now that I've
Vinegar
heard.
works
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, vinegar works for a lot of stuff.
You can't do too much vinegar, though, because you walk around smelling like vinegar all day.
Yeah, that's another stinky.
That is another smell.
These don't smell so bad. It's the other ones.
Eyewitness News, streaming out loud this morning. What's the name of that? Is it the thing that you fix? Is it a whack or is it a...
hack or
a
whack?
hack or a whack. We'll find out, yeah.
Good idea.
We're back in 90 seconds.
Somebody remind me to do it.
Good morning, everybody. We are starting off very quietly for a January morning. You talk about dry January. It's a dry January morning for us. Right now, 38 degrees currently out at O'Hare and Midway, 35 Valparaiso, 38 Joliet, 34 degrees in Woodstock, and 35 degrees right now in Waukegan. Overall, I think today, clouds really thicken up in the afternoon, may bring us a couple of sprinkles, but more likely this evening, a few snow showers possible. Not going to amount to very much, however. Now tomorrow, we'll look for persistent light snow. Highs tomorrow in low to mid 30s, and we are also anticipating accumulations of less than an inch of snow around here tomorrow. Roz?
Very little going on out there on the roads, and the only crash we have is this one in Libertyville. It's on US 45, a little bit north of Winchester Road, but even that is not causing any delays. That's how light the volume is out there. As you look at the big picture, we have very few spots of congestion. The inbound Stevenson is a little snug at the Ryan. The Kennedy is a little heavy at the west end. Approaching downtown, it's not bad at all. We have a few brake lights, as you can see, coming around the curve there at the North Avenue area, but your travel time is still under 25 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Dan Ryan, same thing, only 17 minutes heading in. That's the White Sox camera, and the tollways look terrific. Here's Rosemont, no problems on I-90. Val and Terrell.
All right, Roz, thank you. Well, this morning, a bald eagle is continuing its road to recovery.
Yeah, the bird was hurt and stranded on a piece of ice in Lake County, Illinois, when a volunteer group answered the call for help. And this morning, Jim Tabinski is with us.
That's right. He's the kayaker and with the Chicago Bird Collision Monitors. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Yeah, you're the kayaker who made the big rescue. So what happened on New Year's Day?
I got a call from Annette Prince, who's the director of the Chicago Bird Collision Monitors, and she said there was a bald eagle on a piece of ice in Waukegan Harbor that looked really bad. It wasn't moving. There were some bird watchers there that had called our hotline, and she asked if I was available. I said yes. I changed clothes and drove an hour and got there and got in my kayak.
What's amazing to me is we're looking at you here on the kayak, and as you even approach the bird, it does not move. What was going on?
It did. I don't know. It didn't move at all. That's the first time I've ever gone that close to a bird and not have it at least turn its head to look at me.
Yeah.
You know, the bird. I think the bird looked wet, so it probably was really cold and just wasn't going to move.
Do you think the bird could have been in shock, Jim?
Possibly. It was. Its eyes were moving. Once we got it warmed up, it definitely bounced back quickly. So I don't know. You'd have to ask Dr. Each that.
Okay, we will in a second. But I want to ask you this one thing. As you were driving to Waukegan, what was going through your mind? Did you have a strategy in place immediately when they called you, or did you use that hour-long drive to the rescue site to just figure out, like, how am I going to do this?
No, Annette, I asked her right away if there was open water. She said she was told yes, and that this thing was just on an ice floe, and it was across the harbor from where the people were, so they definitely needed a boat. So anyway, I put 2 kayaks on the car, thinking that if the bird was mobile and therefore dangerous with those talons and beak, that I could perhaps put it in a net or wrap it up in a sheet, which I brought along with me, and then stuff it into the second kayak and just tow it in. With geese or ducks, I usually put them in my lap and just bring them in, but I wasn't going to do that with a bird like this.
Oh, yeah.
So that was part of my plan. But plan A was always to just be able to push the ice that the bird was on. I've done that before with just clearing out spaces to put my boat in the water, so I know I can push the ice. And I was glad that it worked out that way, and I didn't have to touch the bird.
Well, Jim, hang on here for just a second. I want to bring in Dr. Reach from the Willowbrook Wildlife Center. Doctor, it's Val and I are here with you this morning. Can you hear us? Can you see us?
Yes, I can see you.
All right, fantastic. We can hear you really well too. So how is he, she? Do we know that at this point? What the eagle, the sex is?
No, we don't, and everyone always asks that. At this time, this bird is quite skinny, so it's pretty hard for us to gauge what a healthy weight would be. But even what we think would be the healthy weight, this bird would be between a male and a female weight. So we actually don't have an estimation of the sex at this time.
Well, we're looking at her him right now. They right.
We're cleaning her face right now.
Oh, well, how's it going for the bird?
Yeah. course, we're hanging out here. We are honestly a little quieter this morning, and we didn't have as great of an appetite overnight as we had the last couple days. So this is a big reason why we always tell people, we're still very early on in treatment. Things could really go either way. So we're still very hopeful for this individual, but we still have to remember that we're still at a fair to guarded prognosis for recovery.
Oh, wow. But the spirits of the bird seem to be a little bit brighter, obviously, since New Year's Day.
Yeah, brighter than on intake, but again, a little bit quieter than yesterday and the day before.
And do you guys have a lot of bald eagles come through? I mean, how rare is this?
Yeah, so bald eagles are actually quite common to Illinois, but they are an uncommon patient for us. We had 3 last year, and obviously this is our first patient of this year, so it's the first one we have so far this year.
How long do you anticipate that this bald eagle will stay in your care?
Yeah, so one of our treatment protocols for this individual right now is treatment for anticoagulant rodenticides, which the minimum treatment for that issue or problem is 28 days, so about a month. Okay. So if everything goes according to plan, we probably see this individual in care for maybe 30 to 45 days, because there still will be a fair amount of flight reconditioning to gain a lot of flight muscle back during that time frame.
That is right. Yeah, I know. It's such a process. Hey, Jim, we've got a few seconds left before we let you guys go. Your message to anybody watching right now.
Don't poison anything. It goes up and down the food chain.
And that's how we ended up here in the first place, huh?
Yes.
Got it. All right. Jim, really nice to talk to you. Dr. Reach, really nice to see you this morning. Thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate your time. Have a good one. Boy, that's something else, isn't it?
We learned a lot. At least 45 days before being released.
Yeah.
We forgot to ask, did they name them?
That's a good question.
Did we? We didn't ask that.
We did not ask that. That's a really good
that
one.
might be a competition.
Yeah.
Chicagoans love to.
Oh, they said they don't know the name.
Well, they can use gender neutral name.
Oh, they don't name them. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to post this whole thing on our website along with how to get involved with Willowbrook Wildlife Center right after the show.
We're back in 90 seconds.
School is back in session tonight. ABC's Emmy-winning hit comedy Abbott Elementary is back tonight with new second season episodes. Big Sky is also back after a holiday break.
All right. I saw a commercial for a new ABC series or Hulu series that looked really, really good. And of course, I can't remember the name of it right at this second.
Do you remember what it was about? Or who was in it? But it was real good, huh? Can't wait to watch.
It was very memorable, huh? Yeah, just stay on ABC.
Right,
and
exactly.
look in your lineup and look for the thing that does not look familiar because it did look good. You're right.
good.
The memory
Yeah, mine too.
All right. Well, you'll soon be able to stream the catalog of influential 90s hip-hop group De La Soul. Their music has been tied up in legal disputes and other delays for years, but the group says March 3rd is the date that you will be able to stream songs.
You don't know where I'm going with that one, do you?
I'm waiting for you to get to it.
I forget.
Me, myself, and I?
Yeah, I don't know the chorus though.
It's just me, myself, and I.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, is there more?
Yeah, there's more. We are
a mess. All right, so the movie Elvis will screen for free at 10 theaters across the country on January 8th.
I just knew they were going to play it.
That's what I thought too. By the way, that would have been Elvis Presley's 88th birthday. I hear this movie's really good too. I haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's another
Now
good
this is one I think I might check that one out.
Free screening in Chicago. It's going to be great. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're back with more after this.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Time to carbo load today. That's because it's National Spaghetti Day. You can get in a spaghetti eating contest like these guys did a few years back in Ohio. And if you're more sophisticated, you can make a reservation at an Italian restaurant where you can take your time and savor your meal, or you can make some spaghetti at home. Yeah, I have a hard time watching people scarf
any food
down
like that. Like what about those hot dogs?
Hot dogs, I'd
when they
gag
dip them in the
whole
water.
time. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, I don't want that much spaghetti. Just
No.
a nice little simple bowl with some Parmesan cheese on the
with
top.
some garlic bread to go
that
with
does
it.
sound good.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, we are hungry. We're going to wrap it up for this morning. Thank you so much for watching Eyewitness News at 7 a.m. I'm going to have a news update. Tracy and Roz will talk weather and traffic during Good Morning America.
Yeah, we're going to hear from them in just a moment. From everyone here at ABC 7, have a really great day, everybody. We'll see you back here again tomorrow, 7 a.m. We'll see you then.
This has been Eyewitness News streaming at 7. Now, an update from ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning at 7:56. I'm Val Warner. At least 5 teenagers were hurt in shootings across Chicago yesterday. Police say one shooting happened late last night in the 7900 block of South Lafayette. A 15-year-old was at a gas station when shots were fired. He was hit and listed in critical to serious condition at Comer Children's Hospital. Less than an hour later in the 6600 block of South Greenwood, police tell us victims were driving in a vehicle when someone fired shots from the sidewalk. The 31-year-old male driver is in critical condition after being shot in the head. His car crashing into a building. A 14-year-old boy is in fair condition with a gunshot wound to the